There's a certain thing that happens when you connect with someone as a peer worker. When you talk about the fact that you understand that and your lived experience and touch on that, there's just a look that you have with them that's a moment of connection, and I think that's been really special for all of us. We've all had those moments when you really feel helpful, you really feel connected, and you feel like you've got them.
So the Peer Work Approach project aims to have peer workers accessible to inpatients at Bloomfield Hospital, as well as educating staff about the lived experience. So this is a partnership between Mission Australia and the local health district. There's 8 peer workers, including a senior peer worker, who are all allocated to a ward. However, we have a lot of flexibility around the program, and they're able to work in different wards at different times, because we want to be responsive to people's needs. And we know that peer work's really about engaging with somebody or talking to somebody that you connect with. So we want to have the flexibility to make that happen. In the Peer Work Approach project, there's a senior peer worker in the emergency department, in the child and adolescent mental health ward, in our statewide rehabilitation units, in adult acute and in the Macquarie unit, and also in older persons mental health.
I guess it was a new thing for everybody, having the peer worker, but she settled in beautifully, and her role's kind of evolved as the 12 months have gone on. She's really a huge part of our multidisciplinary team. She attends our handovers, case review meetings, and does a lot of work with the young people. She's also run focus groups and things with young people and carers to help us enhance our program. And then she does individual work with young people and carers, as well as helping to inform the team. So yeah, the beauty, I guess, of her role is that she spends all of her time on the floor with the young people and carers, and she's involved in their journey from referral right through to discharge, and in some cases actually does follow up with the young people and carers once they're discharged from the unit. They're quicker to tell their story now with her present. They're quicker to kind of talk about what's going on for them and what they might need to help them. So I think certainly enhance their recovery and their clinical outcomes as a result of having her in our service. Yeah.
In May last year, the 25th, my wife catastrophically passed away with Streptococcus sepsis. So yeah, in 4 days she passed away. So, and then it was a struggle for me. I became self-harming. I didn't want to be around. What I did was I went and see my psychologist and said, well, I need to admit myself into hospital because I don't think I'll be around here much longer the way I'm going. So, and a lot of friends and people said that was a good idea. So I come to hospital, and when I did get here, they were going to throw me in this little isolation booth, and I cracked up a massive stick. I said, you're not throwing me in that, no way. Not the way I'm feeling. And that's when I met Nicole, my peer worker, and she sort of calmed me down. They took me to another section of the hospital. She calmed me down. She said, now listen here, are you hungry? I said, yeah, I am actually. She sort of treated me like a normal human being, that wanted to be. And she snuck off and got me a couple of sandwiches and a drink, and then we got talking, and then they were able to coax me back into that room where they needed to take bloods and monitor me. We'd have it was like having a conversation with a friend, or going to a pub and having a beer, but we'd have a coffee, or we'd have a cup of tea or a drink.
People didn't know what peer work was. What do they do? How do they do it? And we actually often talk about, it's not what a peer worker does, but it's why. Why does a peer worker do it? Because when you change that question around from a what to a why, it makes it really interesting. It makes the answer really interesting. And we've talked a lot about actually not advocating for, but advocating with people. We're really trying to focus on language at the moment as well, and change it from, our clients. Well, they're not yours, they don't belong to you, and our patients, they're not yours. But how can we support them, and how can we make that language really strengths-based?
I think that groundwork is done by the peer workers while we're in the hospital, so we can connect more meaningfully because we've spent more time talking with somebody, is important to the consumer. They actually feel heard and understood, and it's a personal connection. Some people will be readmitted over and over again, but I'm finding that the people that we see who have that bit of connection back out in the community and that understand where all the help is, they're not, presenting as much. I think a lot of it is about loneliness and fear, and once they have other sort of mechanisms in place, they don't need to present back into the hospital as frequently. I think that we all at various times have reflected about it's quite an honour to be allowed to be so close to somebody at their most vulnerable. Yeah, and none of us take that for granted at all. So definitely we've all changed.
With Nicole and everybody else behind me, I could become a peer worker and help. That's what I want to do, try and help someone. I know I've lost my wife and I'll always have that thought and she'll always be there, but it gives me something. My mind will be active and gives me something to do, and if I can help someone, that's something like Nicole's helped me, so yeah.